Welcome to another candidate conversation from 25 Women for 2020. Today, we're just thrilled to be with Juli Dominguez. She's running for State Senate District 16 near Fort Wayne. And today, we're going to talk specifically about reopening public schools. Juli's a public school teacher and a mom, and she has some great insight that we want to hear about. Juli, tell us what the priorities need to be when we're making the very high stakes decision about reopening schools.
Well, thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here with 25 Women for 2020. First and foremost, I'd just like to remind everybody that our COVID-19 cases are increasing around the state. We have not seen a decline. My husband works in a local hospital, and he said to me today before he left to work, I just want you to know that we're seeing a huge jump in COVID cases in the hospital, and I want you to be careful. I don't want to bring it home. And like my husband, I don't want to bring it home either from the school. And I know that a lot of parents don't want their children to bring it home from school either and infect their families. So whatever decisions we make, we have to make sure that children's safety and our workers' safety, the administrative staff, to the cafeteria, to the cleaners, to the teachers, has to be the most important thing that we consider when making decisions about reopening our schools. So for example, most of our schools where I am in my area are opening the schools on time around the second week in August. And we have to make sure that when we go back, everybody has PPE. All the students and staff need to be wearing masks. We need to make sure that we can socially distance 6 feet apart. Those are very important. The children are going to have to eat lunch in the classrooms. We're going to have to minimize the risk on the bus, the way that the seating is on the bus. And we are going to have to make sure that everybody stays safe.
Juli, there's so much that's uncertain right now around the state as we look at different school districts. Each district is doing it a little bit differently. So I'm concerned about standardized testing. Like last year, we didn't do that. What happens if we don't do it this year? How will teachers know how well their students are doing?
Well, that's a great question. And what I don't think that the general public knows is that teachers assess their students all the time. We do what are called informal checks for understanding. So for example, if I just taught about nouns, a noun is a person, place, or thing, I might stop and ask the students, well, give me an example of a noun. Can you give me a word that's a noun? That's a check for understanding. We can know right then and there who understands what a noun is and who doesn't. And then we can adjust our learning and reevaluate what we need to do in order for those students to either understand the concept or move on because they do. In addition to those informal checks for understanding, we have a lot of other things that we can do to which are called formative assessments. So we could give a little quiz, we could have them make a list, we could give them a problem where they have to write an essay and answer a question. So we don't really need standardized testing. And if we want what are called summative assessments that we would do maybe at the end of a chapter or end of a unit to assess if they understand the big picture, we could do a portfolio with them. We could do a project with them. There are so many different ways that we can assess kids. We really don't need, all the teachers know we don't need standardized tests to understand where our kids are at academically.
Juli, I thank you for showing us why we need to get you elected in Senate District 16. So please tell us where people can find more about you. What's your website?
Absolutely. You can reach me at Dominguez 416. It's my last name, DOMINGUEZFOR16.com.
Great.
You can also reach me at my email, which is Juli@Dominguez416.com. And I also have a Facebook page as well. And I'm on Instagram.
Wonderful. You can find out more about Juli at 25womenfor2020.org. She is there with her whole team of former women that need to get elected so we can make these changes that we need in Indiana. Check out her Facebook page and share those with your family and friends so they get to know more about Juli as well. Thank you, Juli, for your time today. It was so helpful to hear your ideas.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Great, and I just want to do a shout out to make sure everyone knows how to check their voter registration to register to vote. Go to indianavoters.com. You can check your own registration. You can register to vote. You can request an absentee ballot, or you can find out where to go if you're voting in person. So again, indianavoters.com is where you need to visit. And we hope that you will get yourself and all your friends out to get registered and to vote. And if you are in Senate District 16, we hope you will vote for Juli Dominguez. She's going to be a terrific senator. Thanks.